materials for...
Very soft.
It is soft, but it's also vulnerable. And I have shoes, so...
It's no problem, you
No?
can just sit on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, no problem at all.
We'll try. All right, yeah, so do you have daughters?
Yes, I have 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son.
Okay, and how do you feel about the idea of role models? And do you see yourself as a role model in parenting children?
Am I here for education?
No, I'm just...
A role model, you mean concerning my work?
Yes, with your work or through your work, or who were your role models?
Who were my role models? Well, I think my role model is my mother. No.
But when you were as a child?
As
maybe?
a child.
But when you were a student, for example?
Yeah, as a student. Well, as you see with the presentation I brought here, I wanted to show a kind of studio feeling here. So most of the role models or the images that I collected through the years are in this presentation, but most of the images were from the male artists, because there is a lot of male artists in the history, of course, more than women were represented or presented.
Okay, so...
But the role models, while I was a student, were maybe Pipilotti Riest, Elke Kriegstoefek, Claude Cahun, but also Egon Schiele, or a lot of Mapplethorpe, a lot of artists.
Yeah, but you were trained to be for monumental art at KBK in the beginning, but you changed course somewhere.
Well, in my final year, I contacted School of Photography from the art school, and then I did a collaborance with this department, and I started to do a slideshow. But that was back in the 90s, so there wasn't. We didn't have iPhones, so I made a slideshow.
And
I worked.
Make a slideshow?
Yes, I did a lot with photography, and I wanted to make a kind of environmental experience. So I made a slideshow with 8 video projectors, and I used 3 screens. And during this slideshow, together with sound, you entered in the riool van Den Haag. What het riool? Ja, het riool.
The sewer.
The sewer of The Hague. And while entering in the sewer of The Hague, you also entered in the mines. I did a lot of drawing into the slides, and it was about the subconscious.
So you used photography as material to create a sort of monumental presentation.
Yeah, and also as a medium in which I could draw, and and I think after art school I went to the Vrije Academie with Frans Zwartjes, and then I started to experiment with video and moving images. Yeah. So I think it was a kind of movie, but then as a slideshow.
Yeah. And so maybe this setting that we're sitting in right now is also maybe this monumental way of thinking, that you want to be inside these images.
Yes, I thought about it. I thought I can make a presentation with 10 slides and one by one. But then I thought, no, I want to make a setting like it's my studio,
this is your world.
What's my inner world, or what's happening. Yeah.
So you like to be inside a huge collection of images.
Yes, in my studio I have a huge collection of images and books, of course. And
okay. And in these images, you make them also, within your own small world. Most of them are made inside your studio or your house or your.
That's how I started. Yeah, yeah.
So why did you choose for this environment to work in?
Well, maybe I started at Vrije Academie with Frans Zwartjes. I started with video performances, and that was in the 90s. And well, I think it was the most easy way to work with self-portrait. So I always did video performance, and I did it in my studio.
Yeah,
that's how it started. And when I worked with models, it was always a little bit difficult to do what I. Yeah, it's like a transformation. It's like a performance, and I thought it is the best to do it myself. And maybe that's also what I was influenced by Frans Zwartjes, who also always did everything himself.
Yeah,
he said, "This is the camera. This is on." Yeah. You can start. That's everything you have to know. Yeah.
Yeah, but so it's maybe not that much to control things, but more the directness of it, or the speed where you can work with, or.
Well, with the video performances, you did something in front of the camera. And then you could choose which parts I thought was the best, and that I could. I used it in installations, and I used it as short movies, but also to do wild beamings and do wild beaming on the city, on the city, because I wanted to show my work not only in galleries but also on the streets.
Yeah.
And then in 2009 or something, I was drawn, into the power of social media. We had Facebook, and I had an iPhone, so I continued the process, but then in another way. And I saw this Facebook and of social media environment also like public space, like. Not the streets, but...
Yeah, and why do you think your pictures that are very personal, can be explicit, why do you think this confrontational approach works for you best?
Well, it's not on purpose that I make, it's not on purpose confrontational.
Well, if you project it in the city, you want to... reach an audience that is not prepared.
That was a different period of my work. But when I started on social media, I was really surprised by the staging of the self in 2008 or 2009. Well, people were telling, "I'm going to have tea," and I thought it was very exhibitionistic. Now we're used to it, but then it was very. Weird, I think very weird. And I had this iPhone, so I wanted to do something, and then I made an over-the-top self-portrait series of me as a sex object, and I thought this is the stage to test what happens, because it's all about private and public. It's all about being exhibitionistic, and it was also a way to see what happened if, as a woman, you're staging yourself as a sex object, being sexual, instead of being sexualized by others.
Yeah. So these first pictures that you posted on social media,
they were nudes. No, not that. It was not really.
But what did it do? What kind of response did you get to it?
Well, it caused a little bit of a stir, I think, or how do you say it? Stir? Yeah. And it was or love or hate. There was no in between. So for me, it was a little bit about the double standard, because I thought, we're so much used to sexualize the women, or to see women's sexuality through a male gaze. And now, when I turn the camera to myself and I do it in my way, it's being criticized, or
And were you
in some ways, and not by everyone.
We're also curious what kind of people would oppose your work and what kind of people would like it. Did you have an idea?
Of course. It's from all different kind of. You had a typical male macho, or the feminist, or the art critical. Yeah, that is a lot of different.
And so, and how did you proceed after this first series? What were your thoughts? This works for me, or this is a good.
Well,
space,
it was really more I had to do it, so I could not escape from it. It was, if we're talking about activism or something, or for me it really was a feel. Yeah, it was a feeling inside that I had to make this work, and I had to present it in this way. There was no escape.
But maybe also that you were
so
on the
I
right
wasn't.
track,
I wasn't. I couldn't care about what people thought about it. Otherwise, I could not make the work.
Yeah, and in that period, did you also present your work in art scene? Classic, like we saw, White Cube style exhibitions, or?
Well, first it only was online and social media, and then of course also, I was asked to I was asked to present it, and I did so in more formal ways. Yeah.
But did they ask you because they saw it on social media, or was it through other channels that you?
Both, I think, because it was also in the media. I think both. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, you use yourself, your own body, to make your pictures, and I guess, do you call them self-portraits, or how do you?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
Or what does it mean to you, self-portrait?
Well, it's.
Is it you? Or is
yes, I think it's me. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there are also artists who play a role.
No. I think it's me. Yeah. But
so,
it doesn't matter. Yeah. In fact, I think
because it's a woman. In the first place, or an but other people will probably have questions about whether it's autobiographical or whether what is your intention with it, or they maybe not directly accept it as well. This is just me. This is my diary. What kind of questions do you get? I don't know. Yeah. Ik weet het even niet. I'm sorry. Well, you say there are positive and negative responses. Well, one of the positive responses was that there were a lot of women who contacted me and wanted to be represented in the same way. And that's when I started a new project, Sincerely Not Yours, addressing to all the critics maybe, or people who don't. And I did an open call for women who wanted to be represented by me. So in a way, I photographed them in the way they wanted. Yeah, and they were inspired by your images. Or? Well, there were women writing me who were inspired, and that's why I started this idea with the open call. Yeah. And in what way were you directing them, or were they in control about how they are being? Well, I wanted them to perform in front of the camera, but it's of course it depends on how on the person in front of you. Some people feel a little bit insecure, and then you start by saying we can try this or that, and then it's when you're busy, it's more like a dance, and then it's yeah. And these images I used for stickers and postcards and zines and posters. So it was like a territorial act to reclaim the streets or the public space for the female body. So And this material was for them to spread, or for you?
No, it was, I used the material to spread. Yeah, and of course, they could also help, of course. I brought stickers and...
So they gave you permission to use it any way you like?
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's always,
Yeah. Okay.
I have to ask before, of course, otherwise we have a problem.
So, and you also talked about mail art or sending pictures to others. That is also a kind of ongoing...
mail art, yeah. Postcards, you mean sending
you
postcards?
Send postcards to people?
Yeah.
How does that work? How do you choose?
Well, I make a series of postcards, and then I put it on social media, and then it spreads out to all places over the world. Then,
Okay, so it's a virtual.
No. I sent a real postcard, but I put an open call on social media, and then a lot of people ask me to send them a real postcard, and then it's a way to see where all the people are who are really following me. So it's from Australia to Korea, America, Belgium, everywhere, and then
are there certain countries where you are more popular, or
maybe Europe and the USA, I think. Yeah,
because there are more online or within this circuit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you send them a postcard, and you also write something.
Yeah, it's more about the image. It's more like a visual pamphlet. And that's the same what I did with the poster. It's spread in Amsterdam and in Groningen and in Rotterdam. Only an image. And it was in all the wildplakplaatsen. What is that? The public...
places where you may stick your posters. So it's all regulated now, the world. Okay, and your name is on it?
No.
People can find you? Or but you use these stamps? You don't use these stamps?
No, this is not the poster. That's a poster. This is a poster for Groningen, so it has a QR code. But I started with a bigger poster with nothing on it. Only one image. I thought it has to be like an art work in the public space, and I don't want any titles or names. And it worked because everybody knew it was my work. I have to show the poster, of course. Then, That's the poster. And if you want to take one, you can take one with you.
Okay. So these graphic qualities of posters and cards, what do you like about them?
Well, I like it. I used to work with the wild beaming on the streets. Then I was working with this public space of social media, but it's very restricted right now, much more than 10 or 15 years ago. So I wanted to go back on the streets to as a territorial act, as to reclaim the streets for this for the women. So I like the public space as a surface of images, like an exhibition in the.
Now there's a lot of advertising in the streets, where women are being portrayed as we're used to in these stereotypical roles, and
well, I think in the last 15 years it has changed a lot.
In what sense? What do you see?
Well, I think that we were used to the vaagreclames. Maybe we remember it, so the naked women jumping out of the water. I think now we see more non-normative bodies in social media. So during this time, I've been working with it. It has changed, of course, in the commercialized image of the woman. It has changed, but I still think it's a little bit softer or something.
But and do you think that art, imagery has helped in that process?
I think so. I think there's you see a lot of women now working or doing things. So I think it's kind of, yeah. I think it has changed, but I also see that it's a little. Well, I often think it's more soften up
Yeah.
a bit, and I like to show more the rawness or the heart, another side of.
So there's still a lot of work to do for you.
I think so. Yeah, for my daughters, as a role model.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this constant flow of making pictures that you do, but you also divide them in series. Sometimes there's an idea like the garden. Or
sometimes I'm from series. I make zines, and then I sell the zines, or I make books or exhibitions, or the stickers.
So you are a publisher. You see yourself?
I'm a self-publisher.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I often do do it your own way. Yeah. But I also have books published by real publishers.
Yeah. Other publishers.
Other publishers. And not in the Netherlands, but from Switzerland and France. So I did not have to bring money.
Is there a reason
why
in the Netherlands there is not a publisher who?
Now in the Netherlands it's what's Knut of Extrapol said. You have to bring your money. You have to pay for your own book.
Publishing in a different country is better.
Yeah, so this do it your own publishing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I was also wondering. You're also sometimes you're in festivals, in galleries, publishing yourself. Have you ever been restricted in to show certain works, yes or no, or in a certain way, or others restrictions put upon you, or? Yeah,
sometimes I think, yeah.
And from institutions?
Yeah,
curators?
Well, once I was invited in the Van Gogh Museum, and there you have these evenings on Friday, the Friday night evenings, and there was this exhibition. Do you remember what exhibition? Prostitutes in 1900 or something like that, and they had all boxes, and you could do whatever you would like to do. And I had something with breasts or outside of the box, and that was a little bit of they had to discuss.
You had to stay in your box.
Yeah. So in the exhibition next to it, you had all the paintings of the prostitutes with breast, but then you have that kind of stuff.
So there is a kind of resistance to realism that you show.
Sometimes, yeah. But I had an exhibition in Leeuwarden. I was asked by Noorderlicht to translate the most controversial chapter of Ulysses, chapter 13, in Leeuwarden, and then there were no restrictions.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that you could show it there.
Really, I was totally free to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
For in the space.
Yeah.
Not for the streets.
But it was a festival with a broad audience and.
Yeah, Noorderlicht is a festival, but Noorderlicht worked together with a European organization for the translation of all the chapters of Ulysses. So there were 18 cities involved, and this was in Leeuwarden. Dus it was not really part of.
But in Leeuwarden was the most controversial. Episode of it.
Yeah. So then there was no restriction at all. So I felt very happy.
Yeah. Because it seems like the sort of perfect place to do your shows.
Only not the perfect city. It's so far away.
Well. Okay. So you say you're you're not that interested in the responses that you get. to
Well,
your
that's
pictures,
not
but-
true, of course. I'm interested in the responses, but it won't hold me back,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, I'm interested because you see that there are double standards. If you see, look at all the comments or
Mhm.
what people think of it.
Yeah. So you're interested in serious responses and
Yeah,
maybe
maybe,
all
yeah.
these.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know by now when you publish something on your Instagram account what kind of responses you will get.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a
That's
repetitive
maybe why I
pattern.
really like to go back to the streets or to use other ways to present the work. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And what kind
But
of...
because now I think for me that social media is not. When I started it, it was really an art project on social media, and now it's more a way to say hello. I'm having an exhibition there. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So social media is less of a public space now than it was?
For me personally, yeah.
Yeah.
It is a public space, but it's not. For me, it's not really interesting anymore. Like I did when I started this project, as on social media.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what is now an interesting place for you to...
Well, I like this exhibition in Leeuwarden, and I'm always busy in my studio thinking for new ways. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Exhibitions or maybe a new poster.
or
something.
some new forms of self-publishing.
Yeah,
or,
maybe. Yeah. That's. I'm always busy with self-publishing, zines, and yeah.
And do you work in a sort of infrastructure with other artists or other countries who have similar practices to you?
No, not really.
Not
No,
really.
No.
You feel all alone.
Yes.
It's not like Knust that you can go from one place to the next.
No, I'm always. But working with open calls and working with models is also very. That's not so solitude anymore.
Yeah. No, and it was a nice way to also try out some new processes to create images. Yeah. So and how come that you stick yourself to this subject of female sexuality?
Well, I think it's very much. If you look at history, it's very repressed. We women are very repressed in all kind of ways, but also in a sexual manner. So I want to speak out and show that.
But you're very dedicated to stick to this subject.
Yeah, I think
so. There must be
something
that
in me. I cannot explain, but I have to.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a slave to this feeling.
Well, maybe it also has to do with this idea of self-portraits, like Philip Ackerman, who also decided at one point, I only make self-portraits, and he never stops.
Yeah.
So maybe because you're such an important part of your images, it would be something totally different without you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe if there are some questions in the audience, I would like to give you some. I have no idea about time, by the way. Yeah? Oh, gee.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Well, maybe one question. No?
No?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then we will wrap it up. And,
and
it was nice sitting on your couch.
If people want to have postcards,
Yes,
stickers,
you brought
or posters,
a lot of material.
just contact me after. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Hester.